Oh, you're still watching the AM show on a Tuesday. Our biggest news stories, well, two really. We've been reporting of missing four girls from Takrady. One or two for over a year, really. The news came in from the police yesterday that some remains that they found in the course of their investigations actually are these girls, remains of the girls who have gone missing from Takrady. We're following this news closely with many angles to this conversation. Kojang Singh, our colleague, is in Takrady. He's visited the homes of one of the girls. He'll bring us many conversations from Takrady. One of the other stories that we're following is that of the placement, the school placement, the computerized placement system, which has brought a lot of issues this year with huge numbers, parents and guardians converging at the Black Star Square to find a solution to the many problems that have come up in terms of the placement. Roland Walker, you were at the Black Star Square early this morning. You were there yesterday, really. What's the difference yesterday and today?
The crowd is lesser today, okay. But it's also...
Obviously, it was because it was very early.
Very early. There had been a downpour in the early hours of the morning, so in that part of the capital, I should say. And as a result of that, they're now trickling in. But I was surprised to hear, even though I heard it yesterday, that many of them had been there since Sunday, had been sleeping there. So they slept there Sunday, Monday.
At the square?
Yes. And I actually had an interaction with a certain gentleman who was coming from the eastern region, Akuse, and came along, had been sleeping there since Sunday. And you could visibly see that this was somebody who looks a bit unkempt in the face because, you know, where he doesn't have the comfort of a home to wash his face and prepare for the morning.
Yesterday we saw parents and students. Did you see students there this morning?
Yes, it looks like they are now even bringing more of their wards. I don't know whether it's to court sympathy from the officials of the computerized placement system, but also just to make the point and drum home the whole conversation that, look, these are the wards we have who have had these difficulties. All of them seem to have a certain narration which is running through, being that they had not been given schools the first time, and then they had done self-placement. The self-placement had been confirmed by the schools, by the data that the schools also had. The school, in some of the circumstances, had given them admission particulars or letters and prospectus in that regard. They had gone onto the market to their homes to purchase hard-earned cash for peculiar schools. Now they come back reporting day and they had been communicated to that the list had been withdrawn because it was a mistake that so-called first class or grade A schools were among the schools that you were supposed to self-place yourself.
Now that doesn't make sense to me one bit as a parent, but there's more of what you found today. So here's Roland Walker at the Black Star Square.
Mrs. Lydia Wache.
Mrs. Lydia Wache. You had to add the Mrs. I know. And is it your child that you have or?
I'm in school. I'm a ba. Accra Academy. But me nya Accra Academy. Me call her Friday. Me call any day wo ho. Inti me buy say me be Jane and you am catch him some me share board no so na me share say da ben ye de baba me share na say Friday ni me buy me call ye no catch him say self replacement ni na wo mo ye free ho inti yansa mbra independence na ye mbeje school for fiti Friday me buy ha wo mo say Monday yes ambra Monday andra ya ba struggle nipa bebre gu ha wo mo mia me kwan wo mo ye say still yasa wo mo say yen fi soro ho na ambra fom na wo mo be ye program no wo fom ye ba fom so wo mo say yen timi andra me gina ha sa 6 o'clock ansa me free ha ana pesu ye ba ya be di live so sa so obi ama ye na ma me ba ha 4 o'clock obi ama me na ma me san di live so nti ye bre ye program say ye sike bi na wo pese ye tua so a wo ma ne ye nchane hu say sisa na ye free biom Visa bata nye bre fiti da akoma me sori ahoma achi na maba ma to me store mu na maba nti ye problem say ye sika ye hu say ye sika say nye free bi me say obedi life so be sori ahoma achi e be di life so wasan kololo fe in and out nye easy nti ye bre bata ye bre pa nti say ye kototo ne oma na kra egu ho a ye de ko school no nti sisi an say ye hu school ya ma na ye ko me ba no ne ofa ni na no obi anfa no wo sa school no School no finding no be anfa no.
Epacho wo obano school ben no chusu.
Schools or choose no choose Adisador, or some choose a cracker, and no choose Fantapim, or choose 5 schools. Ni now about cram fan.
What they're trying to Bako cram fano. Ain't you more your self placement?
Your self placement.
For first time and I obian fano.
Fano.
Ain't you know Moshe schools no monona. I crack our
academy never da ho I almost say we here a Greek student nti ne ya choose ye ba ye kwa no Friday na ne din wo ho ye kwa na ne din wo ho na ye fa ye nti ye ba ye no problem bebre na ye face
so wakola no way
makola no wa ha
o de ono so buy I na de ne buy
say say no no na bibi ni a obetimi a cheche me nko school ya me ba nti me so me di na chi se me bo an school no so ne nsaka school no
impanyinfo no ne wo mo kan se ase wo mo ye mistake kakra be bi to sinti na mo di schools ni bi e kan self placement schools no nti na yes uchusu akraka no no wo mo yi free mo o se nti sisia no wo mo so o mehwe mo wo ne o makasa
me no ma kasa wo mo so obehwe ba ya me ya say schools 5 na o choose ye no nya 15 school 5 na o choose ye no obi anfa no nti ha me say adent na mo de akwanja na abeto wo say nkwala no enfa school no na school na ofani na ha ba kokra anfa no nti ha me
nti ase wo mpacha friend say
your family Lydia Awatwe Mrs. Lydia Awatwe
so we've been speaking to Mrs. Lydia Awatwe and her situation is not peculiar. It's the same for many of them as well. They had the opportunity to do the placement, and then, as much as possible, they had done the placement themselves. The chosen schools, they had reflected on the boards of the schools or in the data of the schools, and subsequently, when they went again to go for the admission letters and the prospectus, they were not having again the names on the boards of the schools, but looks to be. Let me just get one more interaction. And what's your name, sir?
Yeah, Gideon Okanse.
Gideon Okanse.
Yes.
And you also have the same. Is it about self-placement and then there was a withdrawal?
No, self-placement. I was here since Sunday evening.
Oh, you came here on Sunday?
Yes.
Evening?
Yes.
For what?
Yeah, just to have my word get a school.
Okay. So where are you coming from in the capital?
Akuse.
Coming from Akuse? Yes. Wow, that's far off. Yeah. That's far off in the eastern region. So the main problem you have is what?
Well, my ward didn't get any of the school of her choice. They didn't replace her. So that's why I came here.
So did you do self-placement?
No, please, because they said we should do it, but when you go on the net, we couldn't find a school, so we couldn't do it. So I decided to come here.
You mean there were no schools?
Yes, please.
At all?
At all. Yeah.
So have you again gone back to the portal? Because yesterday there was the announcement that the portal is now working.
I was here throughout the day,
no. Okay.
So I couldn't go back.
When you went home, or have you checked your phone?
I didn't go home. I was here because they said we should come today. So I slept here. Slept here. Yes. Please.
With your ward?
No, my ward is not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are just coming to look for that opportunity.
Yes.
What were you told yesterday? Or that'll be on Monday?
Yeah, we were told we should come back today, but because of the problem they have yesterday, they couldn't if you continue with their work, so we should come. So I was expecting that when we come today, there will be sanity or there will be proper arrangement. But still, it seems our leaders, they are not learning.
Why, when you came here, what have you seen that makes you think that? Because today it looks like there's no chaos, or at least it's now that we're having the crowd massing up.
Yeah, I was expecting that before they will come, there will be a proper arrangement, like the queue like this. They were giving numbers. All of a sudden, they said they should round off the book, so they are now going to buy. At least if they could have done this, I don't think we have a problem. If everybody has a number, when you go to your time, you definitely go. But if you don't have a number and there's a queue, one person jump, then there's going to be a problem again.
Because you guys are many.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yes. Mr. Okanse, I wish you all the best. Because you've been here since Sunday. It's it will be frustrating for you. How bad is it?
Very, very bad. Very, very bad. I wasn't happy at all. Very, very bad. Very, very bad.
I wish you all the best, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So let me just give you a vivid picture again. It looks like the crowd is massing up. The other stand, which is just close to the secretariat, and the secretariat is on the first floor of the arch, the independent arch, you get to find that many people again are massing up, and they are trooping in gradually. And I'm sure that within the next few hours, we're likely to again witness the crowd that we saw on Monday, and many of them incidentally are coming here with the warts. It looks like yesterday it was only the parent who came in, but this time they're coming with the warts in tow. And we'll bring you all the updates right here on the show.
All right, so that's Roland Walker at the Black Star Square very early this morning. Roland, this was about what time today?
Just about 30 minutes ago.
Okay.
So it's as latest or recent as it could be. Yes, and it also gives indication that they still think that they could have some answers. And we have to inform viewers that we've had the initial placement of over 390,000 students already who are supposed to start school, and I'm sure that many of them are starting school over the weekend. Okay, and they're supposed to maybe reporting from now, etc., of the first week of school, and then ultimately we'll get some responses from the schools if they are having late admissions. Now, the concern would be for those who genuinely have problems, because you get to find out somebody who lives in Accra has been posted to a school, let's say in Wa, or maybe a school in Kwanta, for example, and even that ward has been given a day school, and that becomes even problematic for the parent. If the parents could afford, that would be good, but the parents visibly you could see that we're not in that state to be able to afford a hostel. Even logically, it doesn't make sense to keep a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, either male or female, who is a student of any second cycle school in a hostel or in a boarding or in a private hostel facility.
So some of the issues are old issues that come up every year with the computerized placement. Let's cross over and go to Cape Coast. Richard Kojonyako is our man on the ground. Richard, there was an example that was cited. This is actually something that happened to one of the families that Roland spoke to yesterday at the Black Star Square. A child had been placed at a Disadel, went there for visual art. His name was clearly on the list. He was given the items to buy. They did their purchases, returned back to the school, and they were told that that initial list had been withdrawn. What's the picture like in Cape Coast from what you have witnessed? Richard Kojonyako, are you with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So the situation you are saying is similar to what has been happening here. But this time, their names are not on the official list released to the schools by the GES. But those people took advantage of a technical error in the CSSDS. They went there and they saw schools like Infantifim and just other Wesley Girls. These schools were not supposed to be in the self-placement list at all.
Okay, Richard, take your time. Explain what this technical error means.
Hello, come again.
Richard, explain to us what the technical error means.
Okay, so the technical error is that the portal was open. The portal was open, and then when the portal is open, they allow for self-placement. So when the portal was opened, some parents and students went there and then took advantage of the self-placement system. So when they went on the list, they saw Infantifim, they saw Adesada College, they saw Ghana National College, they saw Wesley Girls. So they decided to pick them. They went to the schools, like in the case of Infantifim, they went there. The school issued them with prospectus. They went to buy the things. They were asked by the school to return to the campus on Sunday. They returned to find a new list that has been pasted. And according to the school authorities we spoke with, they say that that is the official list. By the time the people brought the self-placement list and the forms they printed out, the GS had not released the list to them. So it is now that the list has been released to them. So on the notice board of Infantifim, for instance, they say that those who took advantage of the self-placement system from the 9th to 11th were done in error. And so it is null and void. And that is what the parents do not want to hear, because they have spent some money buying mattresses, buying some kits and other things for their students. And you can imagine a student that had gotten admission at Infantipim, how the students will feel and the parents will feel. So they've been sleeping on the campus for the past 2 days.
Okay, Kojo, I'm just wondering, and I'm sure that this is explanation that officials have given you, but if the portal is open and I can see there's a space as in Infantipim and I place myself there, how is that a technical mistake? I still don't get it.
Okay, so let me explain to you. For instance, Ghana National College, we are told that it was oversubscribed. The school disclosed spaces they have up to about 2,000. But about 24,000 chose Ghana National College. In the case of Infantipim, over 20-something thousand chose Infantipim.
Okay, so I'm wondering, Richard Kojanyako, whose fault is that? That can't be the parents' fault?
It is not the fault of the parents, and that is why they are saying that. And GES, yesterday, I heard them apologizing. They even issued a release apologizing to the parents of the technical hits that occurred, that has resulted in this whole brouhaha.
Okay, so how are the schools, because, you know, the parents are still around. There are some people who cannot understand the fact that this was a mistake. What are they saying?
Well, so yesterday, the Free SHS coordinator for the Central Region, Oketechio Pukwajiman, came to the school, tried relentlessly explaining to the parents and the students that had already brought their trunks, their mattresses and other things, that, well, there is an option, because obviously you cannot get in front of him because it was done in error. So he asked them to go to his office where the Solution Center has been set up, so new schools could be chosen for them. But that is the point of disagreement of the parents, because they say that once they have been allowed into the system, they have chosen the school, they have traveled all the way from Wa, Kumasi and other parts of the country, and then they are here. There is no way they are going to any other school. So yesterday, some agreed and went to the Solution Center and then looked at the list that has been provided there, whether they could take advantage of that. But some also remained there. So yesterday, when I was leaving the school around 4 p.m., about 50 parents with their students, with their wards, were still at the school. So we are going to follow it up today to see if they are successful in convincing the parents to choose other schools apart from the factory school. They chose themselves.
Okay. Richard Konyanyako, we will leave it here for you to do the rest of the follow-ups. We'll catch up with you in the course of the day. Let's talk to the head of the PR unit of the Ministry of Education, Vincent Ekowa Asifwa, who joins us via phone. Vincent, good morning. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, my dear. How are you?
Very well, thank you. I hope you are too. Let me, because of the updates that we received from the Central Region, let me ask. I thought that the list released to the schools would be there when parents go to cross-check. But it looks like schools didn't receive the list. Parents came with their self-placement lists and gained admission. Is that it?
Can you rephrase your question again?
Okay, so this is it. And this is coming because of the update that we're receiving from the Central Region. It looks like the schools did not receive their list early enough. So parents had gone there with a self-placement list that would later be described as a technical mistake.
Sure. Let me say a very good morning to your cherished viewers. I think about 3-4 days ago, there was an official release from the Ghana Education Service indicating that there were a number of self-placements that were done about 5 or 7 days ago. Now, those self-placements were cancelled because of a technical hitch that was experienced by the Ghana Education Service and the CSSPS Secretariat. And so we issued a statement indicating that all those who take self-placement between the period of 9th and 11th of September may have to go back to the online portal and do their self-placement, because what has been done may not count, and it may not allow you or access to the various schools that were initially, or that you were posted there initially. And so it was an attempt to correct the anomaly that was faced by the Ghana Education Service. In fact, indeed, if you check the statement that were issued, we apologized profusely to the Ghanaian people that was not the expectation of the Ghana Education Service. But of course, because the system is an IT software platform that was used by the Ghana Education Service and the CSSPS, it is bound sometimes to be able to get some of these challenges.
Okay, so
but the most important thing is for you to be proactive and deal with the challenges that you are faced with.
Vincent, how come some of the school heads themselves had printed lists that the people who had initially visited and who had gained admission were on? So there were some who saw a list in the school, their names were there. So they were given the prospectus to go and purchase the items, only to return and they were told that there's a new list, the earlier list had been pulled down.
Well, it's an interesting question. Now, let me indicate that the system works this way. When you go online to go and do your self-placement, the Ghana Education Service reserves the information and later on submit it to the various headmasters of the various senior high schools. So, at the instance that you did your self-placement, within the next 20 minutes or 1 hour, you may not be able to see that information at the level or at the end of the headmaster's portal. However, sometimes after 24 hours or sometimes even earlier than that, the Ghana Education Service and the CSSPS is able to send the self-placement information to the various schools. So the headmasters are able to print the information that has been sent to them by the Ghana Education Service, because we should take note that when self-placements are done, it does not automatically go to the schools. No, that information rather goes to the Ghana Education Service, who then releases it at the end of the headmasters. So it is true that headmasters or some headmasters got the information that some particular students are supposed to be in their schools. However, because of the anomaly that was experienced at the level of the technical field or the system that failed us at a point, we had to cancel it for all those who did self-placement to go back and do their self-placement.
So how do you explain that to a parent? How do you get a parent who's purchased items specifically meant for a particular school to, I mean, what does the parent do?
First and foremost, the only thing that we can say is to apologize. It's to let them see how sorry we are. With the implementation of the free senior high school education, it has always been a flagship program that we have been so much committed to in making sure that it becomes a success. And so it cannot be an intent of anybody at the Ghana Education Service or the Ministry of Education to, as it were, ensure that we get to a point where we are today. So whatever is happening are issues that were never anticipated for. And we regret so much for that.
Okay, so does a parent get a refund? Because the whole idea of the free senior high is to not get parents to pay, is to bring a relief to parents. So if I'm buying a uniform meant for Zion College and I no longer have a place at Zion College, it would mean that the next school that I find, I have to buy new items. Am I getting a refund as a parent because of your technical mistake?
It's a genuine concern. It's an issue that the Ghana Education Service may consider. But at the moment, within the next few days, the primordial interest of the Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education, and by extension the government, is to ensure that every child is able to go to the school that he or she has chosen. Because there have been some misconceptions out there that some students have been posted to schools that they themselves never chose. We Ghana Education Service and the Ministry of Education has not in any way, not even a single time, where we have posted a child to a school that he or she never chose. So normally, when a child goes to a cafe or seek for an assistant of anybody who is at the internet cafe to help him or her choose a school, because of the lack of diligence, parents or students are not able to get the schools that themselves might have wished for, or they leave the choice at the helm of the cafe person there. It is later that they realize that the school that he or she chose for him is not really required of them. So when you come to the Black Star Square now, about 90% of the issues that we are seeing there are issues based on self-placement, are issues based on schools that were chosen by students or parents at the time when they were choosing their schools, when they completed PEC, and there were lack of interest on the part of the students or their parents because they allowed teachers to help them and say, can you choose any school for my son? And they will choose the schools later. That is when they become aware
Vincent,
that they were
this is not the first time that we're doing placement. We've done placement for a while now, for a number of years. Why have the issues compounded this year? Why are we seeing these huge numbers this year?
Well, I started on your platform about a week or two ago, and I told you that indeed the Ghana Education Service have been able to learn from this experience. So, of course, we started this from 2017. Some of these challenges that we are facing, or we are facing now, are issues or challenges that we have not anticipated for. Until the technical hitch that we had, we were having a very smooth process. Of course, since Sunday to Tuesday, you and I can verify, or we can ascertain the veracity of the claim that I'm making, that when you went to Black Star Square on Monday, Tuesday, the crowd that you are seeing there yesterday and today was not the crowd that we were finding there because almost everything was in place.
But these people, some of them traveled from very far. They were probably on their way to the Black Star Square.
I don't think so. Well, it might be just a few, but I'm saying that I was at the Black Star Square on Monday. I was at the Black Star Square on Tuesday. That is last week. And I didn't see not even more than 30 or 40 people there. And so the challenge that we are facing today is as a result largely of the technical hitch that we experienced last week before the self-placement issue was resolved. And so we apologize vehemently to the Ghanaian people.
Can these issues coming up now be resolved in the districts?
Well, it's a concern that I think we should look at. As part of the decentralization processes of Ghana Education Service, of course, for the first time where we are having recruitment being done at the district level, or better still, where we are having recruitment being done at a level where an applicant will have to stay in his house to be able to do application. It has never happened until last year, whereby students, or if you like, applicants were applying to the Ghana Education Service, and they would be able to do so only when they travel, sometimes to the Ghana Education Service regional headquarters or the national headquarters. And so it's a genuine concern that I think that we have to learn from the experience. The Ghana Education Service may look at such options so that in the near future, going forward, we should be able to deal with such matters.
So how are we finally dealing with what is at the Black Star Square today?
Well, when you come to the Ghana Education Service today, when you come to the Ministry of Education Service today, the minister himself is not even sitting at the office. Everybody is out there. We have trained a lot of people to go to the regional
in the Black Star Square. How does that solve the problem?
Well, we are going there to help the situation. We need to talk to people. People will have to understand, because there are some of the issues that after talking to somebody, you will know that there's no issue at all. So we need to educate people. We need to communicate. We need to talk to people. We need to advise people. We need to let people know how the system really works. Because there are some people who come, and of course, there's no issue at all. But if we're able to engage.
How about, Vincent, sorry, how about those who are on the track that's already in school?
I didn't get the question, please.
So there are some who have challenges, but they are on the green track, I think. That track is already in school. So these people are supposed to be in school.
Can we speak to specificity? Okay. Can we speak to specificity?
So here's the thing. There are some of the students we spoke to who say they are on a track that is already in school, that just got into school over the weekend. but they've got issues they haven't resolved, so they can't go to school.
Well, when we talk about registration, registration is not being done only in the first week. Registration, of course, and more especially because of the situation that we have on our hands. The Ghana Education Service cannot close registration now.
Okay.
We need to ensure that every Tom, Dick, and Harry who is supposed to be in the senior high school is allowed to go to school, irrespective of how long it will take. Why? We've lived in this country where there were times that first days were going to school in November. You remember? Students in the first year were missing about 3-4 months for the first semester for the first time.
So
it was this
so
government
that's
that
not
was able to introduce a system whereby we have to go to school as early as 15 September.
Okay, so that's...
So I am not justifying in any way the anomaly that we are facing as a ministry. However, this is better than what we used to have before.
All right, we'll leave it here. This is still very much a developing story, so we'll come back to you as and when. That's the head of public relations at the Ministry of Education, Vincent Eko Asefua, joining us to answer some of the questions that have come up, Roland.
Yes, definitely. And you could see that the ministry has been in a position to have a certain rethink and allude reasons why we're having all these difficulties. And what they've been able to think about is that it's a technical hitch. And so the technical hitch placed Infantipim, the technical hitch placed Adisadel, and today I even got to learn the technical hitch placed Accra Academy and all the grade A and grade B schools together. Now, we have to think of this holistically. If we know that we want to make entry for a certain transition of BEC students who would go to senior high school, but then on the side, we keep communicating that despite the grade you have, you go to school, we should also let the parents know that the strength of your child will place you at a school at Nkwanta, which also translates that that school at Nkwanta is not the same as that school that is in Cape Coast or is in Accra, or let's say the Volta region, Zion College, etc. So that then the communication is seamless and the parent also understand that based on the strength of my child, even though I keep saying secondary school is secondary school, we have secondary schools and we have secondary schools. Then the parents will have that realization that, look, my child is for a grade C school. And so when I'm choosing, I will choose only grade C schools because that's the reality. Everybody knows the strength of his or her child. But at the end of the day, when you give those people the opportunity to make choices for which you know that they will not have the opportunity for their children to go to, then it's a concern. The communication is that it doesn't matter the grade you get, you will go to school. But we should also communicate the type of school that that grade will take that child to.
Yeah,
it's very important.
All right, there will be more on this. We'll take a breather. When we come back, we'll be speaking to COP retired Bright Odro. He's a former CID boss on the latest on the Tardy Girls. Remember, Kojang Singh is also in Takrady. We'll be crossing over to him. So stay with us here on the AM Show.